Here, if you permit me, I'm going to read out a few lines that I wrote in response to this. Just, so I believe, first of all, the how. How can we reimagine a pluriversal world and futures? I believe first, it begins with accepting that the concept of a universe is a myth, a colonial imposition. Only when we see through the veils of illusion surrounding this prevalent notion, then only do pathways to other realities emerge. As long as we are blinkered with this notion, we can't see other already existing realities. Once we shed these enforced blinkers, we can see the myriad epistemologies, ontologies, and cosmologies that make up this wondrously diverse and entwined world. Now, when we come to the how, provided that we have accepted this notion that the universe is a myth, it was an imposition, the how starts with building our core capacities. Core capacities of, first of all, reimagining and reinventing ourselves. Very often, Cynthia, if you ask me or anyone for that matter, who are you? Our first response tends to be, I'm an Indian, or I'm from Mumbai, or whatever, that becomes like our identity marker. Now, when I use that kind of an identity marker, I'm already beginning with the notion of a world with borders divided into countries and nation states, and my position and my localization within that one of the bordered countries, different from yours, different from someone else's, separated by, national borders and political geographical boundaries, whatever. Now, not when I'm envisioning this, I think one of the core capacities that we need to imbibe, inhabit, and lean into consciously is to not be satisfied with being citizens, but become earth-sense, become citizens of the earth. So I'm kind of using the word earth-sen here. And one of our philosophers in India, Aurobindo, used the word universal human. Now, how do we become universal humans? So while identity and culture, and I keep talking about this, context, culture, identity, roots are important, it is also important to understand that those should not become our limiting boundaries. Those should not become where our empathy stops, where our humanity stops, where our ability to connect with another stops. So when we can be transboundary, we can become transnational in the sense of connecting, communicating, empathizing, seeing, sensing, relating, yet staying rooted in our context. I believe that kind of capacity building is going to be very important. Second, I would say, is to build the capacity for radical imagination. Radical imagination is not wishful thinking. It is not flights of fancy. It is not about, just stargazing and thinking, oh my God, or some kind of crystal balling. It's not. It is literally a very, very rigorous method to understand patterns, sense the system, see what is the current state of the system, what are the emerging patterns, see what the collective wisdom is telling me. So basically very deep sense-making capacity, generative listening capacity, and an ability to put all of this together and literally consciously lean into and hold space for what is wanting to emerge. So you're listening to the emerging future while staying very rooted in the present, while sensing the current system, also holding space for very paradoxical, controversial opinions that may not fit with your worldviews, with my worldviews, but holding them and staying with them, staying with the trouble, and listening to the field, literally listening to the field and what is wanting to emerge. It is, I would say, a very dedicated practice of pulling together radical imagination, profound inner wisdom, collective sense making, seeking patterns, and systems thinking all together.